All right, hey guys, in life science, and you are looking right now at the directions from Mrs. Vega on how to page of your notes handout. The PDF right here is the notes sheet that I'm talking about, and you'll notice that it's got two parts: cell theory and prokaryotic and eukaryotic making. So, taking like on the left-hand side of the screen here, you'll notice a couple things. The first being that we're going to be studying cell theory on this first page. We're going to be looking at who is involved in discovering cell theory, what tools they used and what objects they studied, and what new words or ideas were invented through exploring this idea of cell theory. So, where am I going to get this information from? Well, when I look on the Schoology page here underneath the note-taking sheet, I notice that there's cell biology, a reading, the wacky history of cell theory, and cell theory, structure of a cell, and cell theory practice. These are three resources that I can take notes from. I need to select two resources to use, two videos and one reading. And then when I'm done taking all of my notes using my two resources, I'm going to do this cell theory practice and make sure that I turn it in CK12. So I just want to show you guys how to pull some information out of these resources. So I'm going to start by opening up cell biology. My computer's a little slow, so I have it pulled up already here in this tab, so we can get right into it. So when I start reading about cell theory, I notice that there's just kind of a little preview of what we're going to read about, an image of some cells, but nothing I can pull out from my note-taking sheet yet. So I'm going to read aloud, and we'll kind of stop when we hear something we can use. Cells make up all living things, including your own body. This picture shows a typical group of cells, but not all cells look alike. Cells can differ in shapes and sizes, and the different shapes usually indicate different functions. Nothing I can put in my note-taking sheet yet, so I'm going to keep on reading. Introduction to cells. A cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. Some organisms, like bacteria, consist of only one cell. Big organisms, like humans, consist of trillions of cells. Compare a human to a banana. On the outside, they look very different, but if you look close enough, you'll see that their cells are actually very similar. Observing cells. Most cells are so small that you cannot see them without the help of a microscope. I'm hearing about a tool, so I'm knowing that I've got some notes coming up here. It was not until 1665 that English scientist Robert Hooke invented a basic light microscope and observed cells for the first time by looking at a piece of cork. You may use light microscopes in your classroom. You can use a light microscope to see cells, but many structures in the cells are too small to see with a light microscope. So what do you do if you want to see the tiny structures inside of a cell? So I learned that Robert Hooke was a scientist who invented the microscope and observed cells for the first time. So I added that information here to who was involved and what role they played. He used a microscope to observe these cells, and he studied cork. So I'm adding that information here to my note-taking sheet. So that's what you guys are going to do. You're going to pull information out of the reading that falls into each of these categories or out of some videos. Don't forget to do the CK12 practice and turn it in when you're done. Thanks.